Hello? Today, I want you to imagine a product, but this isn't something you can hold or touch. It has no factory, no raw materials. Yet somehow it is the most profitable product in human history. The interesting part is, most of us buy this product every single day, often without even realizing it. What am I talking about? Debt. Debt. It sounds like a simple financial tool, doesn't it? But in reality, it's no different from an intentionally designed, masterfully marketed product. A product that has funded wars, toppled empires, enslaved nations, and quietly siphoned the wealth of ordinary people. If you ask most people, where did debt come from? They'd shrug. Who designed it? Why is it at the center of our system? No answer. But the story of debt isn't just economic history. It is the story of money and power itself. In its simplest form, what is debt? A promise. You borrow today, you promise to pay tomorrow. But hidden inside that innocent promise is the core of financial control. Interest. Charging interest is the art of turning the future into profit today. For thousands of years, societies struggled with this idea. For example, in ancient Mesopotamia, they recorded debts on clay tablets. But they also did something very interesting. Leaders periodically declared debt jubilees, debt forgiveness, to prevent the people from being crushed under debt and collapsing the whole system. They knew debt was dangerous. They knew it could enslave entire populations if left unchecked. Let's fast forward to medieval Europe. The Catholic Church officially banned usury, charging excessive interest. But bankers and merchants always found a way. They disguised loans as trade contracts or used complex financial documents to make it look like anything but a loan. By the Renaissance, powerful families like the Medicis in Florence built their empires not in land or armies, but on lending. They loaned money to kings, popes, and merchants, and in return they received not just their money back, but more importantly, political power. Debt was evolving into an engine of power. But the real revolution came in the 17th century, state debt. When the Dutch were fighting for independence from Spain, they needed money. What did they do? They sold bonds, debt notes to their own citizens. People lent money to the state, received interest, and could even trade these bonds amongst themselves. Suddenly, wars were no longer limited by the gold in a king's treasury. They could be financed indefinitely by selling the future. The Dutch perfected this model, and soon the English copied it. The creation of the Bank of England in 1694 formalized national debt as a permanent institution. The state wasn't just borrowing in emergencies anymore. It was literally living on debt. And the bankers who managed this debt became more indispensable than the royal family itself. Debt had become the foundation of state power. The profits were incredible. Think about it. Lending to a government was the safest bet in the world. Why? Because governments could collect taxes from you and me to pay their debts. This new system was a perfect loop. More war meant more debt. More debt made the creditors richer. With the Industrial Revolution, this system went into overdrive. Railroads, factories, infrastructure, all of it was financed with credit and bonds. Debt seeped into every layer of economic life. But the true masterstroke and the cruel genius of it came in the 20th century, selling debt to the masses. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards. The entire architecture of modern life was built to normalize borrowing as the default condition. And here's the genius of it. Debt doesn't just make a profit once. Every interest payment is a constant transfer of wealth from the debtor, US, to the creditor, the bank. It's not like a product you buy once and use. Debt is designed to be permanent. It's designed to lock you into a payment cycle that never truly ends. A house bought with a 30-year mortgage will cost you 2 or even 3 times its sticker price. Debt transforms from a contract into a trap. After the Second World War, they globalized this mechanism. The IMF and the World Bank were established in 1944. On paper, their mission was to help countries in crisis or development. But this help came at a heavy price. Debt became a tool of discipline. The IMF imposed structural adjustment conditions on its loans. In other words, I'll lend you money, but you have to sell these assets, cut these expenditures, and run your economy this way. Nations that accepted the loans were also signing away a significant part of their sovereignty. Simultaneously, banks discovered that the average citizen was a gold mine. The slogan, "Buy now, pay later," became a lifestyle. It was marketed as the only way to participate in prosperity. For banks, it was a dream. Steady, reliable interest payments from millions of households. It was great for governments, too. Even if wages were stagnant, people could keep spending with credit, maintaining the illusion of growth on paper. Debt became the hidden engine of modern capitalism. But could this system expand forever? Of course not. The first major crack appeared in the 1980s. Developing countries had borrowed heavily, encouraged by Western banks. When U.S. interest rates suddenly spiked, these nations found themselves unable to pay. In 1982, Mexico said, "I can't pay," and the dominoes fell. The solution? Not debt forgiveness. The solution was more debt, under even harsher terms, a complete trap. You borrow to survive, then borrow again to pay back the first loan. Meanwhile, Wall Street found new ways to buy and sell debt itself. They bundled mortgages, car loans, into securities that could be traded globally. Debt was no longer just a contract, it was a global commodity. This is what we call financialization. And 2008, that massive financial crisis was the logical outcome. Trillions in securities built on worthless mortgages. The entire global system trembled. So what did governments do? Did they punish the people who created and sold this toxic debt? They used public money to rescue them. Ordinary people lost their homes and jobs. The banks got bailouts. And here's the kicker. After the crisis, debt didn't shrink. It grew even more. Central banks slashed interest rates to zero and pumped trillions into the system. This cheap money encouraged everyone to borrow even more. Which brings us to today, a global debt of over $300 trillion. That's more than 3 times the world's total annual output. Never in history has humanity owed so much to so few. And this massive liability is celebrated and presented to us as growth. The most ruthless part of this system is how it concentrates wealth. Every interest payment is a wealth transfer. It continuously funnels money upwards from the bottom to the top. Those who have assets, the wealthy, can use them as collateral to get cheap loans and buy more assets. Those who have no assets, the rest of us, borrow at high interest rates, like credit cards, just to get by, trapping them in a cycle of repayment. So what's on the horizon? Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Money that is programmable, traceable, and controllable by code. Sounds efficient, right? But if the history of debt has taught us anything, it's this. Efficiency for the creditor usually means less freedom for the debtor. History's most profitable product is being upgraded for the digital age. So, what's the lesson to take away from all this? It's that debt is not a neutral tool. It is the most profitable product ever created, intentionally designed to turn time itself into money and to convert the hopes of people and the struggles of nations into a steady stream of interest payments. If you understand this system, you understand that financial freedom will not be handed to you by the system, because the system thrives on you remaining indebted. Real wealth means minimizing your dependence on borrowing, questioning the promises of easy credit, and recognizing that behind every loan offer is a machine designed to profit from your future. From the clay tablets in Mesopotamia to the digital banking of today, the story is the same. Debt enriches the creditor and burdens the debtor. And the cruelest trick of all is that we've been taught to celebrate this, to call it progress, and to mistake borrowing for prosperity. If this gave you a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe. The answers are hidden in history, and I'm here to show you where to look. See you next time.